Hi, this is Core Dynamics Garage Clips. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Nicole.
And we're going to talk about if you find more time in your workout. So we mentioned that this could be a 30 to 45 minute workout, but if your participants are fluidly moving through that routine and you find yourself with a little bit more time or you're ADD and need more exercises, here's a way to infuse a little bit more into that routine that you already have. So the scrunch board is on, so I'm going to talk about what exercise you can add in. So Nicole's going to come, and you can add this in whether we start with regular scrunches on the routine that we have now, and then we go to rotational ones. You can add in a pike, whether you do that as the first exercise, the middle, or the last. And Nicole's going to demonstrate this because I clearly would just like to talk about it because it's a little bit easier to talk about than demonstrate. So she can have her feet right where they are. You can also cue someone when they go to that rotational scrunch, or even the scrunch, that she's going to move her knees up a little bit more, so her feet now move up more, and now she might be even to get more of a pike up from here. So telling people to move their feet up or down might help them get more of that verticality effect. So that's one exercise you can add in that section, which again, remember the scrunch board's already on, so might as well build it in. As you know, we go from this exercise and we go through that adjustable foot holder. We go through the tree and then we do that hamstring curl with the sweep. Well, here are some exercises you can add in here. After you do the hamstring curl where you come up and you sweep back and you come back up, you can add in some more Pilates-like exercises here. So I'm going to have her use a weight bar, but feel free to use a dowel or nothing. And I'm only using this because it's a nice demonstration of what we call the lean. So you just did a lot of rolling back and a lot of spinal flexion. This is about keeping that neutral position of the spine and lengthening through the torso. So her arms are up. She's going to keep this nice rib to hip length through here. Torso's nice and tall, and she's going to rotate, and then she's going to lean to the side, and then she's going to come back. And then she's going to rotate, and then she's going to lean straight towards me, letting the hip come up if she wants, boom, and then comes back. It's really hard. And then you're going to turn, and then lean, reaching, and then you come back. And you want to do one more, turn, sure. And then she leans towards me, nice length, and then come back. So you're going to see, you can let yourself relax, that you're going to have that nice rib to hip connection. There's activation, but there's not a collapse. So when she leans, I'm going to have her demonstrate one more time, but I'm giving her a nice break. What you're going to look for is notice how she keeps this nice and long. There's not this collapse down. She can kind of side bend, so I'm going to show you a side bend. That's what you might see. But she does a beautiful job keeping length here. And then you're going to come back and then rest. You can allow the hips to come up, or you can keep them steady. Now, if someone's having a tough time with this, you have to think about they're in an inverted position, making it more challenging to their hamstrings. So if they're feeling like this is really hard, either you can tell them to keep their knees bent, which might be really challenging in and of itself. You might tell them to take their feet out and put it on the floor. Now, when this happens, as she goes through this movement pattern, the hip probably won't come up so much because otherwise she'll feel like she's falling. But she can be successful with the movement pattern because she's out of her hamstrings and she's just working on that lengthening through the torso. So keeping that theory of how do we help accommodate the hamstrings, we go into that of the twist, spine twist, and that of the saw. So she's inverted. I just taught her the lean. Even if her feet were in the adjustable foot holder, I might have everyone take their feet out. And the reason being is that I want that length in the torso to start. Arms will be out straight. And this twist is this. Think about lifting your ribs off your hip, breastbone high, nice breath, and you're going to inhale, and you'll exhale, you'll rotate 3 times, and then you'll come back to center on the inhale. And then you'll exhale 3 times, and then come back to center. You look for the pelvis to remain steady versus that kind of pulling back sensation. You'll look for the arms staying out nice and straight, that rib to hip length remaining the same. You can even pull that arm back as she rotates to help with that activation of the mid-traps, the rhomboids. Perfect, and then come down. So that's spine twist. Same exercise can be done with their feet in the adjustable foot holder. Notice now again, hamstrings are really long. You're working more on that torso rotation and that dissociation. So you're coming up and rotating, and then you're coming back, and then you're rotating, and then you're coming back. So how do you add on to this? You can add the saw. Again, feet can be on the floor or they can remain in the adjustable foot holder. And now you add that rotation effect, but now you go up and over for a nice spinal stretch and hamstring stretch. So she comes here, turns her back palm down. Perfect. And she reaches and then she comes back up and derotates. Comes over, she reaches for her pinky toe. And you can look back to that back arm. Beautiful. And it's more of this oppositional stretch. Now notice, this is really hard when you're inverted. So I'm going to tell her, take your feet down and do that same movement pattern and notice her spinal position. She can come up and over and maybe she wants the extension component and then she'll add a rolling up component. If your focus is a nice spinal stretch, you're going to cue more of a rounding of the spine up. Beautiful. If you want more of an exercise where you're getting more of the spinal extensors, when she rotates and she comes up, I'm going to say to Nicole, keep more of a flat back so you're coming straight back up. So just one little tweak can change the whole intention of that exercise. So those are some Pilates-like exercises you can just fuse right into your routine, and we try to make it so that if you're using the adjustable foot holder, add them in right there. Remember, put those feet on the floor if you're finding some hamstring tightness and people are struggling. And again, last but not least, that scrunch board, go ahead and add that pike into that routine.